So for GP1A, we are asked to identify the vertex and use the graphing pattern that we've been talking about to graph the function. So no longer do we want to use the table of values to graph our function. Now recall from the vocab that vertex form is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So the vertex are the h and the k from the equation, but keep in mind, this tells us that we're going to use the opposite of h. So this right here says -3, therefore we're only going to use the positive value. So our vertex, or the horizontal shift of this function, is a +3, so to the right 3, and the vertical shift, the k value of our vertex, is a -6. So vertex here is at 3, -6. Well, notice that we also have this a out in front of our equation in vertex form. And that a, the sign of a, determines if our parabola is going to open up or open down. So in this equation here, there's no value there indicating that this a is a +1, which means we're going to use the same graphing pattern, the 1, the 4, the 9, 16, or whatever we can fit on our graph to find the next points after the vertex. So we start with our vertex at 3, -6, and we plot our point there. Remember, we always want to draw our axis of symmetry through the vertex. So I'm going to do that before I move on. So my axis of symmetry is at x equals 3, and I can now use this as my center point, or the center of the parabola, when I'm counting in both directions. Makes it a little bit easier to find our points. So from our vertex, we can now apply our graphing pattern. So from the vertex, we go up 1 over 1. From the vertex, we go up 4 over 2. And again, I'm counting from the axis of symmetry when I go over. Then we can go up 9 and over 3. Now from there, we could try to go up 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and that puts us at 10. So it just barely fits on the graph. And again, I want you guys using as many points as you can on a 10 by 10 graph. So if you're printing out the graphs that I provide you, you're going to put as many points that will fit on that graph. If you're creating your own graphs on graph paper, just stick to the 10 by 10. So I've gone up 16, and that's going to be over 4. And then I can sketch my parabola from there. So again, from vertex form, go ahead and add to your toolbox. The first thing you want to do is identify the vertex. From vertex form, that's the H and the K. Make sure you include what vertex form looks like in your toolbox. Also identify the A value. Is A positive or is A negative? Because that's going to determine whether our parabola opens up or down. And then after that, you want to apply the graphing pattern, the 1, 4, 9, 16, to find the next few points after your vertex. So a couple more things we're going to be asked to do with the practice for this lesson is to describe the translation from the parent function. Now remember, again, our parent function vertex is at 0, 0. So from this point, our graph has translated to the right 3 and down 6. So we're going to describe that. Translated to the right 3 and down 6. We will also be asked to identify the y-intercept of our function. And so notice right here on the graph, this is the point where our graph crosses the y-axis. And this is the point 0, 3. And that is graphing with vertex form. All right, let's take a look at another one.